So here we are on another road trip, Hudson and me, and we're heading down to the Mazomanie Library, which is the old depot right downtown, where all the great things happen in Mazo. We're on Highway 14 right here at the stop light, and we're turning left, and we're going to go just a few blocks down to downtown Mazomanie and visit with the who's who of quilters. A bunch of ladies that are fantastic quilters, and hopefully most of them will be there, kind of headed up by Jerry Springstead. And we thought you might enjoy this because I saw some pictures, Hudson, of these quilts, and they're quite amazing. And what it is, I think the whole quilting, all of the quilts are called school days, and what they are is they're the quilts that depict all of the local schools, the one-room schoolhouses and small schools that used to be dotted around the countryside here. So a few of them still stand, and I'm sure we'll get the lowdown here from the gals that made these quilts. So we'll look forward to heading in here to the depot in just a few minutes and meeting everybody, okay? Was with Jed and Jerry were.
Yeah.
And then we had to really behave and stuff. So
Well, I only came because I thought it was only verbal. I didn't realize it was actually pictures. I thought it was a.
Well, we won't be along for pictures. So we're here at the Mazomanie Library.
Right. Mazomanie Free Library.
Free Library. Right. And Mrs. Perel is here. I call her Mrs. Perel because I've known her for a long time. That's what I always knew her as. And there's Connie Handel and Jerry Springstead. And so they're going to take us around and talk about each one of the quilts. But why, just explain why we have quilts in the Mazomanie Free Library. This is a community, these are community quilts.
These are community right now. So
okay.
Probably when this library was redone, it used to be across the street in that little tiny area.
Yeah.
And then this was rebuilt, they repurposed this railroad building, depot.
Yeah.
I know there's a word for it.
That's okay.
And that was, I think, 1990, 1994 in that era. Okay. And the walls were blank, and Selma and Jim Bennett had done the majority of organizing things, and well, there were other people, I'm sorry, Sherry Barish. But at the time, Selma was quilting, and she couldn't, I think, stop herself. So she got her friends together, and the quilts hung up here for years, but they never changed. And I thought, good heavens, there are plenty of quilts around. We could change those out, and Selma was happy to go with that. So we would recognize, like, so Connie had her own show, and lots of other people, so we had their own quilts. And so now, it's the 145th anniversary of the Mazomanie Free Library, and so we did community quilts this time.
Got it. And did I see somewhere that there's going to be an auction for quilts?
For this quilt is
For
a
this
raffle.
quilt. Okay, let's turn around here and see this
This quilt
here.
was made by a group of local women who we loosely refer to ourselves as the Mazo Material Girls.
Okay.
And we, on a whim, had this gorgeous fabric and decided to do this, it's called a one-block wonder quilt.
Okay.
Luann Gallagher and I took a class in it, and so of course we don't finish our own, but we go ahead and make one for the library.
All right.
And so this is being raffled off late this fall. There's tickets available at the library and Jerry Springstead, and
At the craft fair?
we'll be at the craft fair.
That's
And
beautiful. And this is the information that Jerry just put.
Yeah, I
down
just
there.
got it.
You
Yep.
that?
Mhm.
Get there?
I did. Yep.
We're all good.
I focused on
that?
it for a
Yes,
couple
we're kinda
seconds.
on a roll, but
Good.
yeah, we try and change out the quilts every couple months or so. We don't really get to it that often, as often as.
Like, how many quilts have you counted how many quilts you've done total, or is it
Oh,
just
no,
so many that you can't?
Yeah,
even
no,
count
I
them all?
give most of my quilts away,
You do.
and so I decided about a year ago to maybe ask for pictures of my children and all the quilts I've given them, and like one of them responded. But I at one point tried to take pictures of everything I gave away, but
Okay.
lost track of that.
Yeah.
But I just do it. Well, I jokingly say it's cheaper than therapy, but
Yeah.
it's keeps my mind very
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Do a lot of
So
things.
that one is the only one that's going to be raffled off. But
Correct.
which way do you want to go? This way or that way? Let's go this way.
Well, let's go this way.
Okay. Let's go this way, and we'll go to this one first, Hudson, here.
Hopefully this person over here wasn't quilting when they, I guess they were reading, that's good.
Well done.
Sorry.
So, when I used to teach German at Wisconsin Heights, we
Yeah.
tried to get projects going
Yeah.
that both schools could do. And so this was a design that we did in 1999. So the students, we got the Americans and the Germans together in the high school cafeteria and put that together. It was also another Selma Bennett design, and she did most of the work. The kids cut it out.
Was that in the high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember in the lunchroom. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was gonna say it looks very
This
familiar.
is actually fairly old, if you will. Some of these quilts, some of
Oh,
these quilts,
1999.
right? But some of these quilts aren't brand new.
What does he mean old?
Well, you know.
Well, I was born in 1996, so for me.
Yes.
That's it.
Right. So there's an identical one that hung at the school. So when we went there, the same identical quilt was in Eschwege, Germany. Yeah.
Okay, and so, but the question was, and I didn't mean to offend anybody,
Yeah.
but the question was, some of these aren't brand new quilts.
No,
Some
none
them
of these are new.
old.
Oh,
These are all.
Carmen's here, good to
Yes.
see you. So fill in, we just introduced everybody, Carmen Schultz is here. And so, fill in where anybody wants to talk here.
Yep.
So,
Here's another one that we did, and this was with the Czech exchange. So we had, Wisconsin Heights had another partner school in the Czech Republic, and we took our kids there. So we made this, and the kids signed it, and I can't remember what's on the back.
Okay.
And so the same quilt is hanging, probably not anymore, of course, but it hung in the Czech Republic. Yep.
I see Jet Springstead here
Oh,
and Natalie Beal.
Yeah, there you
Some
go.
people that we
Joanne
know. Nate
Beike,
Springstead is up there.
Dan
Yeah.
Jones,
Yeah.
Justin Lamberty,
Yeah.
Leif Barsness.
Yeah, lots of
There you go.
familiar
Clayton
people.
Bennett. So the cute story is that Selma and I kind of got this thing going, and both of us looked at this, and our own sons hadn't signed it. So anyway,
You
you know how
you
that
got them to
goes.
do it.
All right, so this is the important quilt here, one of the more important ones.
Oh, yes.
And wouldn't you know Stitchard School is hiding behind you?
We're gonna take the
Yeah.
books down.
Oh, that's nice, thank you. I looked for mine right away, and it's
is there a year that says the quote, the year this quote was
well,
made?
it had to be in the late nineties sometime.
1999.
Good memory.
So tell us about, this is one of the things I saw on your PDF file that was very interesting to me. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this was the idea of,
Dr. Roberta Felker, when
Yes.
she was our superintendent of schools, she felt that very strongly that we needed to commemorate our history of the one-room schoolhouses that all fed into, of course, Wisconsin Heights in the 1960s. And so she actually recruited women who were actively involved in these or had history with these schoolhouses. And I believe it took over a year. I guess they worked in the high school cafeteria. I just remember I was on the school board at the time, so I heard like that side of it on this project, but I actually did not work on any of this.
Okay.
but Selma Bennett was
Selma was,
designer. She
She was-
figured out what it would be, and she finished it off for us. But in the meantime, I saw this picture in the paper of these ladies working, and said, "Oh, that should be part of mine because I am a Stitchard School girl,
Ah, okay.
and my folks went to Helen School."
Okay, so this school is where you went.
Yes.
And that school is where your folks went.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so I did those two.
Okay.
And you see how she had a blue background on these two sides of it?
Yeah.
That's because Black Earth High School colors are
Sure,
blue and
blue
white.
and white.
And
Terrific.
maroon and gold was the
Nice,
Mazomanies.
smart. I didn't know that.
Yeah, see,
Good.
this
I
is
didn't
something you
either.
should
And
know.
this
Worked on every
is this the
single one.
Mazo and Black Earth?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay, the high schools?
I
The
did the
original schools.
Black Earth High School,
Okay,
as it was when it first started.
sure.
There was a whole, when I went there, there was a whole addition. There in 1941, we got a gym.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah.
But you have to be really old to know that. But see, what she did then was, Mazo was there, Black
Yeah.
Earth's here, and there's a creek running through.
Sure, neat.
See the Black Earth Creek
Yeah.
running through.
Yeah,
And each school had some meaning for the person who did it. So it was
Nice.
kind of nicely done.
yeah. How many of these, I know the Old Halfway Prairie
Mm-hmm.
is Is the Dunlop Hollow still
Yes.
around?
Yeah, Sharon.
Midland was taken down when the church went up
Yeah.
there, or a little bit before that. How many other ones are still at least standing? They might be being used as
Well-
homes or something like that.
Sandridge School, let's see, where is that?
That's right.
Right here.
Oh, yes.
Is that still?
Is our town of Vermont
Okay, yeah,
church office.
yeah,
Yes.
okay. Anyone
So,
other
and,
than?
well, Sitchet School is a home,
Okay. Mhm.
and
So is
Helen
Dunlop
School-
Hollow.
Dunlop
Actually,
Hollow is-
Sharon Rowland made that block. She actually lives there.
Okay,
And Helen School is a home along 78.
got it,
Mhm.
okay.
Sitchet School is at the end of, where Blue Mounds Trail and Old Union takes off.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure about the rest because they're pretty well abandoned, you know.
where was the new Halfway Prairie School? Where was that? Do we remember? Up here in the corner, I can't remember, I've never heard the new Halfway Prairie.
Unless that was added on.
No, I think the old Halfway Prairie is the, it says in the PDF, I know I read it, but I
Okay.
can't remember.
Well, we could publish that or I'll make that available too if you guys are okay with that, because I think people will be interested in this. I think this is very
I'm
interesting.
very proud of it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there were that many one-room schoolhouses. I just thought there
Proud to be
was.
a part of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this is
Old
a really
Halfway Prairie.
important commemoration of
Yeah.
our district's history.
Mhm.
And I went there all 8 years.
Huh.
As did a lot of other folks that you know,
Yeah,
but had to go to high school.
yeah, yeah.
And I would drive, the bus would go right by and I would love to get off.
Do you have to go to school, high school,
I
or
think-
later high school?
Oh.
Go ahead.
I think it's interesting, so Jean Everett did the Mazomanie School there, and I think Jean did the Marksville.
Okay.
I'm not sure, or maybe one of the Halfway Prairies, because she lives up there.
Mhm.
But there's a cute, or a concise
Yep.
write-up on this, and
Yep.
the quilt has been displayed several times.
Yeah. Well, once you get that, let's go ahead and move over here if we can.
This was another exchange quilt that we did with the Cheehovitsa, which is the Czech exchange, so this was 1997,
Okay.
made under the direction of Selma Bennett.
All right. You guys are doing great. This is very informative.
So
Thank you.
this is a kind of an interesting quilt. You guys know more about it than I do.
We did that as a block exchange.
Yeah, we did a block exchange. We each made, I think, 12 flag blocks. And the only guidance was, red, white, and blue, and then I think the gold. And then we exchanged them. So then we all had the stack of the same blocks and then
Did work.
took it from there.
Now, let me ask you a question here, because I've had quilts made, but I've never done any quilting. Each
Really?
one of these is a separate little piece there?
Yes.
Yes.
And each one of these is separate. Each
Yes.
thing is a separate thing.
Yeah.
So this, sometimes you look at this and you say, oh, that's nice, but when you think about the work that it takes, I mean, only you guys know, I certainly don't.
That particular block is not that difficult.
Okay. Because they're what, straight lines? A lot of
Yeah.
straight lines, it's just
Yeah.
cutting out the
Yes,
patterns?
squares and straight lines.
Okay.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
yeah.
But you're talking to ladies that quilt straight, and so I have a hard time with that, because as I'm sewing, I forget what I'm doing at the time. The interesting thing about this
Yours
was,
is modern quilt,
Very
modern quilt.
this was pre-9/11, so that year was 2000, what year was 9/11?
2001.
2001.
Mhm.
So this was probably 2000, or this was probably 1999 or 19, whatever. So when, as a little historical aside, when 9/11 actually happened, I was teaching at the high school, we did not have flags in each classroom. So I went, and I hadn't put my blocks together yet because I'm one of those people, and I hung those up on a clothesline in my room for the American flag.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
keep going.
All
This is
right.
very good.
So yes, we did several
Exchanges.
group quilt exchanges over the years. The coffee cup one over there is another one that was done quite a while ago, and you could, if you want, you can turn it lifted up, and the people who made those blocks are on the back. So just- Or maybe.
Maybe I put it on here. Oh, so Connie Handel, Lori McCoy, Mary Deneen, Carmen Schultz, Selma Bennett, Perry Kerr, Diane Jasper, Christy Christie, Cindy Winandy, Kathy Yasek, Luann Gallagher, Rita Frakes, and Terry Zeiski.
Oh. All hands on deck.
That's very intricate.
So there's a UCC church quilt.
And we have some beautiful church quilts now that I think we managed to hang everyone that we've found.
Right. So I think Jane
Wow.
Peterson was the driving force behind this one, if you want to get in and take a
Yeah,
look
I
at
want to try.
it. Jane couldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
So those are pictures over the years of
Yeah.
the church.
A little zoomed in too far there. They're nice.
Carmen Shores, I recognize her.
Oh, okay.
Have we looked at this
That's
one?
another high school exchange.
Okay, it's another high school
Yep,
exchange, so the kids' names are on there?
Out in the township, yeah, I live out down the road from Selma.
Oh, you
I
do?
live on Wilkinson.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're gonna skip ahead and do the church quilts.
Sounds good.
So let's start with the Catholic Church quilt, the St.
Okay.
Barnabas
Yep.
Church, and then Carmen can talk about it.
Yeah,
So-
Carmen should speak to this. She is the driving force behind this quilt,
Let's,
which
so you
was
wanna.
made to
I'm gonna
come
walk
get it
in there
from
if you don't
here, or
mind,
wanna-
and then I'll-
And then you guys follow, just so that he can hear your voice, Carmen, because.
Okay, this
sometimes
is-
it doesn't pick up.
Let's see. when
This
was
is
it?
to commemorate the
The
150th
150th anniversary of St. Barnabas. And the priest at the time, Father Jason Hessling, had approached me and asked if there was something we could do to commemorate this. So I asked friends, because this is way too much for one person.
Yeah.
And so it looks askew because I sat in the parking lot and drew that to try and get the point of view from as people were driving up. And on the bottom is a picture of the original log church that they had somewhere in information. On the right are the priests that served, on both sides, priests and sisters. And all along the edge, Jolene, Luann, Connie, Jean Everett, who doesn't even go there, helped with this quilt. But these signature blocks, these are all names
Yeah.
of people from the parish. We spent like 4 or 5 weeks, collecting signatures at the end of Mass. So there's quite a history
Yeah.
Oh.
of people in the area from the church.
Yeah.
Very
Very-
It's a very,
Very beautiful.
yeah, it's
What's the size?
Great
of
detail.
this?
I
Do you have
really
any idea?
big.
Yeah. I mean, it's over 8 feet tall. I
Yeah,
mean, that's-
it's
if
by
it's
far the
not down
biggest.
here on the floor, but yeah.
Biggest.
so
one
in
I've
very, very great detail.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
What
How long
year?
did it take you? Any idea from start to finish when you first drew it to? Any idea? I mean, was it a few
6
months
months?
or was it
At least 6 months. At least 6 months.
Must be fun to see it all come together at the end and see your
Yes,
work.
And then you look at it and it's just like, why did I do that? But
I would have never noticed that. I mean, it's just very,
I mean,
really great
you
detail.
You walk head on and it looks tilted, but from the parking lot, that's
Yeah,
how it
sure.
looks. So,
Yeah, I don't even. That's not even.
Yeah,
a concern.
it's
It
yeah,
is.
it's very nice.
Yep.
so.
Okay, next one then.
Which one do you want?
Which one you want to go to?
We
Is
can
there
go to
another
the
church?
left. I believe this is another UCC church.
Or is this the Lutheran church one?
Nope, this is
This is the Lutheran one.
Am I right?
There's a
Well, this
What does
one's
it say?
not Lutheran.
Schönemann.
No, it's,
Oh, this is
yeah.
Bradford's. I don't know who this is. Good heavens, isn't it? We
It
don't
says
have a link.
UCC right here.
Well, there you go. So
There you go.
Royston's, I would think so,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So
Yeah,
I
there's
was,
you up there too.
all right, I was hoping that Jane Peterson would be here and she'd be able to give it all. But, so, I believe that this is similar to the Lutheran Church one that's down there, but I believe that each family made their own block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Larry Collins is here and
Oh, sure,
Shinnemans,
yeah.
and then, I don't know which Dora, but Beavers are there.
Uh-huh.
Right, so names that we know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and I believe Jane put it together then.
Nice.
There's Peterson's. Yeah, Craney's. I wonder who made that because Sharon Craney doesn't sew. Just between the I know it's a secret.
That particular block is not an easy one to do, that
It's like a
star.
hand piece.
Oh, yeah.
You have to put those points in there.
Yes, and to get them all to line up.
Oh, so you can see like this was probably a first communion with the
Okay,
kids, and I have
okay,
no idea
sure.
why Piggly Wiggly would be on the church, but maybe they ate a lot during
Yeah.
that communion class.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So a really cool quilt down here is this Lutheran church quilt, and somebody should speak.
So
to
this
that.
is our Savior's Lutheran Church.
Yes.
As you can see, they made it for the bicentennial. Each family contributed a block.
This one looks like it took a while.
Excuse me. Back here.
Just there's such detail, and all the families' names that are listed.
So much detail. It's like,
There's an interesting one from the barber shop in Black Earth. Can anybody find that on here? And it's done from inside the shop looking out the window.
Oh, for goodness
So it's
sakes.
kind of a backwards one. Well, see, you can't find it now.
And here's
you
the
can-
Martinsons. Of course, they had horses.
And the Albrights, so one of the first ambulances in
Oh,
town,
yeah.
right?
I thought that was
and
Perry's
here's the
car.
Yeah, it was like a
Shamanics?
station wagon.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he took all the gravel around. Yeah. You can just look at this for a long time. The whites look at so I just think that's so unique.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you guys do like when you do a joint quilt? Do you give it to the organization? I know this would be the churches, if you will, but what do you do like if you guys do one together personally? Do you fight over it? Do you see who can wrestle the best, or what?
That's exactly. Now that's a great idea. No,
Most of what we did for raffles.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do group efforts, unless it's a block exchange like the flag quilt.
Right.
So we have a purpose.
Got it.
So, Marguerite, you probably can speak to this because you said that this traveled between all the Lutheran churches and it hung up. Am I right?
Well, no, I saw it at their church.
Oh, okay.
At their church, because we worked together as a parish for a while.
Okay.
And so we would do joint things, but we're not on this one.
Yeah, I just think it's, as Carmen pointed out, very few people do any of this anymore, this embroidery.
Yeah.
But there's quite a bit on there, right? That's what you're saying? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
All of these are
So
embroidered
each-
things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
and
each
people
family-
don't do that
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
That's all hand done.
Yeah.
Here's one. This is my aunt and uncle, Jim and Lois Hurling. Jerry lives in town here, and Jim lives in Black Earth
Okay. Oh, yeah.
still.
Right. So back to the embroidery. Do you have to do each stitch, if you will, to make these?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. You take like 2 or 3 threads, and there's certain styles of stitches. Like there's chain stitching and
Mostly, yeah.
Wow.
The interesting thing is, and then they had to, once they got that, then they had to sew each block together, right?
Right.
And then they tacked it by hand. So there's
Oh, wow.
inside is a batting that we call a batting,
Yeah.
and then they've got the back here,
Wow.
and then they've stitched. So they must have
That's
had
amazing.
a lot of coffee hours to get this
Lot of
completed.
oh yeah, and it's really straight.
Isn't it? Somebody did a real.
Yeah,
So
it's very impressive.
That's something that's kind of interesting when you put together. Everybody's 1/4 inch is slightly different, so then you have different sized blocks, even though
Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but,
So quilting is an art form. It's kind of you have to have good perseverance too. If you're doing
Barbershop, yeah.
these types of things.
there are some that are
Yeah.
really easy, and then there are some
Is that from Black
you
Earth?
just
You
look
said?
at the pattern and say, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot, it's amazing, there's a lot of YouTube videos that show how to do things simply and make them look really complicated.
I see.
But they're
Look at this.
a lot of math. I didn't
really?
like
Okay.
math in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I going to use this for?
Yeah.
Quilting.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I like the whites one. They've got their laundry out to dry. I like that.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also a way to, get together and do something together too, right? Fellowship kind of community type stuff. Mhm.
And when we moved here in '89, we live out in the country. Didn't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Selma Bennett lives down the road from me, and 3 weeks after we moved here, I had my oldest son, and she gave me a quilt. And
see.
Then I started meeting Connie and the other group,
Yeah.
and then got the quilt. What's the word?
Fever?
Yes, yeah. And it's been 30 plus years, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. But it's great to get together and do stuff and learn different things. Like Connie is an expert at making different kinds of bags that are quilted and stuff like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so it's fun. Everybody has a slightly different skill level and
Flair.
like Jean Everett, she's really skilled as well, and you can ask her questions, and it's fun. It really is. It keeps everybody together now that our kids are all grown.
Yeah.
That was originally too, I think part of it is that we got together with the kids.
I see. Sure.
And then I started quilting as a way for doing it at night after the boys were to bed, because it was something they couldn't undo.
Yes.
There's only so many times you can pick
Whoops.
up toys
Yeah.
and have something to show for it. So that's what I did. I
Sure.
did it at night just as a kind of creative outlet.
Yeah. Take us to the next one.
This is another important one that Carmen did. So if you notice, Carmen and Jean and Connie are all precision quilters and designers. It's really true. It's really true. So Carmen did this. So Carmen was a
Scoutmaster. I was a scout. Three of my boys were really active in scouts. 3 of them became Eagle Scouts. And in 2010, the National Boy Scout Association celebrated 100 years. Our troop was 75. So I wanted to commemorate that. So this, I think, is Selma's pattern. But the fabrics were put out by fabric companies that year for the national. So all the fabrics have something to do with Scouts. The train in the middle is Troop 58's logo. And then the green patch at the top is one we designed, and we had a celebration at the community center, invited as many people as we could find that we had names for from previous scoutmasters, scouts, committee members, and the like. And there's actually, it's kind of hard to see, but on the points in the corners, actually here, there are signatures.
Yeah, I can see those.
And the different colors represent whether it was a Scoutmaster, whether it was an Eagle Scout, a committee member. So that's all documented on there. The red numbers on the bottom are actually from the uniform that the boys wear with their troop number, and I just thought that would be kind of unique. But
What do you guys mean when you say, okay, so you did this, Carmen? Any of you guys can pitch in here. What do you mean when you say that was Selma Bennett's pattern? Does she kind of draw it out, and then you guys do it, put
Selma
it together?
Bennett actually
As a
professionally
company.
designs
I see.
patterns.
Okay.
It's called Shop Girl Quilts. And so she designs patterns and produces them for a national fabric company that then uses them as their samples.
Got it.
So
Okay.
she has that creative piece
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
most of us don't have. You know,
I see.
to be able to see a design
Yeah.
and actually put it down
Yeah.
on paper so other people can follow it.
And they will also send her fabric, and she has to come up with a quilt
Yeah.
that highlights
Yeah.
that fabric.
Yeah.
And it's not just one fabric, it's
Yeah.
a whole line
Yeah.
of fabrics. And then she comes up with a design, and then they'll make kits out of them where they have the fabric and the pattern together, and you can make that exact quilt.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask that question because, you know, I mean, there's industry, there's music, there's sports, there's crafts, there's all these different things that have all of this language and all of these intricacies, and you think, oh, well, you know, you just put together a quilt. That's how, you know, I just look at it. I know it's a lot of work, but you just kind of think of that. You don't think of all the design aspect of it. Or even like a home builder, some people can see something and then they can tell somebody how to do it, but the person that's doing it can't see the big picture, you know, they just can do their little thing. So that's why I wanted you, maybe there's something else that's kind of interesting that non-quilters would need to know.
Well, I'll tell you that just to get involved now in sewing, you can get a $75 used Kenmore machine, but the people here probably all have machines that are worth more than $1,000.
Oh,
Not me,
okay.
not anymore. Mine is like 25 years old.
Okay,
I still have,
but the equipment is expensive.
Yeah.
and
Because
the
it can be a
thread
very
is expensive.
frugal, minimal.
And that's how quilting started out.
expenditure
Yeah.
Yeah.
hobby. If you think about why women started quilting, it's because they took scraps of
Yeah.
they
you know,
made their clothes.
They took old clothes
Yeah.
and made them into their warm blankets
Right,
for,
right.
for the winter.
Had to.
But then it can also be very expensive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you can. There's lots of toys out there.
just like golfing or something. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
the clubs, but you can have.
Well, a lot of sports
Yeah.
or a lot of hobbies with
Yeah.
the same thing. So
Yeah.
you can be very frugal,
Yeah.
and you can not.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
let's just talk about the price. So fabric right now is probably good quality that is gonna last, is probably at least $12.99 a
Right,
yard.
and you-
And
yeah.
each quilt, let's just say you need, let's say 3 yards for a front, 4 yards, 5 yards.
Depends.
It'd be 3 yards
Then
for
you
like
need
a
a
baby
back
size
as well.
quilt.
Yeah.
Then you need a
So
back.
5.
And
The
then you need
backs.
the backing, or the batting,
The
the
batting.
inside. And then a lot of us don't, well, I do because my quilts are not that great, but I do my own sewing on the top, so
The
I.
quilting itself.
I do the
Yeah,
quilting.
that's sewing the sandwich together.
There's a whole industry out there of ladies and men that have long arm quilting, and so they put it on great big machines and they program a sewing machine.
Oh, wow.
And then it does the top stitching.
It's all
But
computerized.
that's really
It's all
expensive.
computerized.
And
And
there's numerous businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Cottage, industry and multi-person, full-time employment, 7 days a week.
so
every day,
that's
all day
minimum
long.
probably, let's just say $100 to do that. So you probably,
Quality thread.
right, and quality of that. So we probably, each quilt that is done, I can't point to them now, but
Yeah.
they're $300.
And the prices because they're hand done.
And then that doesn't include your time, because no one's gonna pay you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a saying, something that says why a quilt costs so much. And it's, I sat down and I figured out how many hours I put into one. Just somebody asked me, how much time did you put into it? I have no idea. And it was like over 200 hours.
Oh my.
And that, and I typically just gift mine.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't, a lot of people sell them, use them
Yeah.
as things, but I just gift them.
So we can make a segue into gifting into
Yes.
the Vermont Lutheran Church.
Yes.
So you should first tell what you do.
Okay, this quilt up here is typical of the Vermont Lutheran churches that are quilts that are sent out to Lutheran World Relief every year. Back in the 80s when we came back to this territory from Avoca, there's a bunch of old ladies who are all dead now who incorporated me into their quilting. And they were doing it like she mentioned, you know, old clothes, old things, old dishcloths for middle. Now we are modernized to the point where we buy the batting in rolls. And we make money by raffling a quilt at the end of the year. This particular quilt, well, we're very much a part of it because my daughter put this one together. My husband cut all the squares, and he has cut all the squares of all different sizes for the last, I can't say, many years. And so we have many stacks, and we provide the stacks to people, and they put them together.
I see, okay.
To the point where last year, this is one of 260 quilts that we did last year to send out, which is less than the 301 we did the year before.
Almost one for every day.
We are about 8 people.
Wow.
And there's only a few of us that put together the tops, and even fewer that cut the backs. But but it is an effort to put it all together, and then we meet every other Monday and tie them. We don't do a lot of the stitching that fancy quilts get, but it's perfectly fine if you have a strong tie, and it'll certainly keep somebody warm. And we get a printout every year from Lutheran World Relief of the countries that it goes to.
Interesting.
And the countries are all over the world, you know.
So, excuse me, is this a tie right here?
That is a tie, yeah.
Okay, so those are tied to the back
Yeah,
as
we tie-
opposed to stitched?
And it's tied to the back, yes. I mean, there's a batten in between.
Okay.
And we've splurged on the batten. It isn't just old stuff anymore, it's good stuff. So they're real good quilts. And you see the tie is also in the corners.
Oh, yeah.
So there's little things we have to abide by. They have to be 60 by 80 inches. They have to have ties no longer apart than 8 inches.
Okay.
So I can just make an octave and say, okay, that's good. And it's incredible where they go.
What are some of the countries that they send them to? Does it vary
Well, it is
because of worldwide need?
terribly
every year?
varied. It goes to, we've sent some around here too. You know, like when sometimes in Madison they ask for quilts, we send in a few. But they go to South America, Central America, Africa. I know for sure they went to Georgia, which is a part of Ukraine, sort of thing. So there's just so many countries they go to because there's such a big need. And my husband gets emotional talking about it because he asked for material. We do it all with donated material, so it doesn't cost a lot except for the batten. And we have a couple who go to every sort of sale around here. One of them just spent $90 at the Catholic Church sale on sheets for the back. So it's these people are church people that just donate. They may not sew, but they donate, and so they're a part of it. So we're kind of proud of having sent as many as we have, and we've been doing it for years. Like I said, we've improved our quality product.
Nice. Very good. And this one's being raffled off?
No,
This one isn't. Okay.
It's
This is
it's
one of
just
the,
a
this is a
display
display.
thing.
You're giving that one away.
we did raffle one off last week,
Okay.
and all the profits would go to the batten.
Yeah.
So we have a little, what should I say, a little fund in the church for this
Sure.
kind of stuff. And we have sold some of them, just before we pack them up, because we have to pack them up. When we get too many in our closets, we pack up and display, we display them all over the church, and people look at them and say, oh, that's pretty, I'd like that. $100, and that goes in the fund.
I see. Got it. Nice.
So it works, and nobody's out a lot of money, and they're good quilts.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Did we get all of the quilts?
I think
There's-
there's a couple more First Communion quilts over that way. Harmony, you want to speak to those?
Come on over here and we'll get these last couple.
Well, this one and this one are a couple of the First Communion quilts. Connie, I'm not sure which, that one I think it was an older one. I think that one was Kathy Yazek had something to do with that, which,
So I
hence
think
the
that was-
green border and the gold.
Oh, sure,
That
yeah,
might have
yeah.
been,
Packers.
Andy Yazek's class. The one over here is Devin and Dina Handover in that class.
Okay.
And
And
Mark.
then they
Yeah.
provided the shape and then put their name on it. And actually, I think they did some of the ironing and stuff to put that together. So they tried every year to do a different one.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of
And
them.
they have the names of the kids.
Yes.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
yep.
Nice. So what else? I mean, is there anything else that we need to include in this little tour of the quilts?
I was told by Jean Everett that your Lutheran church, Vermont Lutheran, that also the other Lutheran church they do the charity quilts,
Oh,
which I wasn't aware of. So
okay.
that needs to be said. We don't want to leave anybody out.
Okay.
There's a lot of people do a lot of quilting, but I think going back, I think the idea was that it was waste not, want not, so that you made quilts out of what you had on
Yeah.
hand, and some of the quilts handed down from my relatives, they had summer quilts that were just like old men's shirts, men's old shirts. Sorry, and those would be well, maybe those. They had both, and so those would provide some warmth in the summer, but not a lot, and yeah. So then, as time progressed, then we've all become a wealthier nation. And we can afford to buy the toys that
Yeah.
make this a
Yeah.
hobby instead of a necessity.
How long will this be up for people to be able to come and see? Any idea?
Well, probably, I think that we wanted to keep this up maybe through Christmas. I'm not sure exactly. In the past, we've done a Christmas exhibit, but then that means that gets real old right away in January, so you go to all the work to
Yeah.
put it up and then
Yeah.
you gotta take it down. So we kind of would like to leave this up until the spring.
And this is a very special exhibit.
Mm.
You know,
There's a lot of
a lot of history is here. A lot of people are instrumental in these quilts
Yeah.
that we don't have daily contact with. And so we would really like this up longer to commemorate our community.
Yeah, and there's some that you can, like the schools we were at a while back, you can just sit there and look at that and kind of remember if you've been around this area for a long time, or maybe you didn't even know there were schoolhouses, and you got some history there, so that's nice.
Maybe we could ask the librarian, do you have any feedback from people that come and visit?
Oh, well, first of all, as someone who works here, I love the quilts. They bring a pop of color here, and we love them. This has been a very, very interesting display. We have a lot of people come in and will say, my church quilt is up. Or especially all the old schoolhouses. We had the new Wisconsin Heights district administrator come. And we were able to show them the quilt, saying, this is the birthplace of Wisconsin Heights schools. But this is a very, very special place. And the quilts are very special. We appreciate having them.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, good morning, my name is Dana Drace.
Hi.
Morning, Bookman.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, you know them very well, Chuck and
Yeah,
Joe.
very good.
Thank you.
I'm